On December 23rd, a writer for the Wall Street Journal wrote an opinion piece. It's called "The UFO Crowd Wants an Alien Invasion for Christmas." And then the subheadings there: the Pentagon discovers it's not the flying saucers, but their admirers who may be the real security threat. This is unbelievable junk. This came out on the same day that Biden signed that new legislation. But again, none of the media wants to talk about that. They don't want to talk about the fact that there's new whistleblower language in the 2023 National Defense Authorization Act bill. They don't want to talk about that. Right? To them, that's not important. Instead, they want to talk about how actually it's the people that are interested in ending UFO secrecy. We're the threats. We're the threats to national security. This guy says. This guy's Holman W. Jenkins Jr. He must be. I'm sure this guy must be good buddies with Julian Barnes from the New York Times. You know. Anyway, apparently somebody who. Now, of course, everyone knows of if you're interested in UFOs, there's a guy, Lex Friedman, MIT computer scientist. He has a YouTube channel where he interviews a lot of different people about UFOs. He's most certainly interested in it. I mean, it's a great channel. He has a lot of good stuff on there. And if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. But apparently somebody going by the name of Lex Friedman sent this guy a message about one of his recent UFO articles that this guy got all upset about it. And he tried to contact the real Lex Friedman to see if it was him who sent it. Apparently it wasn't him, the real Lex Friedman, that sent it. Or excuse me, it wasn't this the guy. Yeah, it wasn't the Lex Friedman who writes for who's the MIT computer scientist and has the UFO videos on YouTube. It's not him. But this guy apparently, I don't know. Whoever wrote him something, it was somebody that thinks who was upset with what Jenkins is writing about UFOs in the Wall Street Journal. Anyway, we're going to read some of this ridiculous article. Reader Lex Friedman apparently has an extensive knowledge of and an enthusiasm for UFO sightings and also an appreciation of ants, judging by his personal email address and avatar. And yet he assures me he's not Lex Friedman, the MIT computer scientist and webcaster who also has a deep knowledge of and enthusiasm for UFO sightings and has exhibited an admiration of ants in his social media posts. So let's just stop here. So he's trying to make it sound like that this could possibly be the real Lex Friedman that sent him this message. Apparently it was somebody who's probably a fan of Lex Friedman, who's interested in UFOs, and is upset about some of the stuff that Jenkins has been writing. But anyway, here we continue here. He says, he asked some questions though. How much did they pay you to write this trash? Do you still have a gag reflex, or did they take that along with the journalistic integrity? He closes with a scatological insult, which, in an undeserved favor to him, I don't repeat. Numerous outreaches to the MIT, Mr. Friedman, went unreturned, but presumably my emailer meant to suggest I was being paid by aliens to cast doubt on alien sightings. I'm sure that the guy was just joking. He's probably just letting him know that you have no journalistic integrity. I think that's basically what the message was. That Holman has no journalistic integrity. That's what I think he's meant. Holman Jenkins Jr. here had no integrity, and when he writes these things, because obviously he doesn't actually this guy is really stupid. I mean, when it comes to UFOs, obviously this guy has no business writing about opinion pieces in such a gigantic publication as the Wall Street Journal, especially when he has no knowledge. He's done no research on this whatsoever. You know, basically this is armchair debunkerism at its finest, or at its worst, actually. Anyway, do you still? And then he goes. Numerous outreaches to the MIT, Mr. Friedman, went unreturned, but presumably my emailer meant to suggest I was being paid by aliens to cast doubt on alien sightings. The email in question arrived in response to a column, The UFO Bubble Goes Pop, which didn't mention him, but dealt with a phenomenon with which he is closely associated. My skepticism had been recently fortified by a New York Times leak about a pending declassified U.S. intelligence report. And here he talks about that stupid article that was in the New York Times, basically. Expected in October, that report is delayed and will be released during the holidays. Not to bury it, officials have assured Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, a promoter of UFO disclosure, but to make sure the report is well written. The climb down The climb down the report portends is overdue even if poorly written. A previous June 2021 report based on unclassified information fed the public only a loosey-goosey impression of the skies above United States military training ranges being overrun by mysterious physical objects demonstrating advanced technology. The following years of questionable Pentagon statements lending credence to military UFO sightings. With these came a pronounced uprating in the mainstream media and academic blogosphere of the likelihood that aliens are already among us. The New Yorker devoted 13,000 words to the subject under the heading, How the Pentagon Started Taking UFOs Seriously. Then the Russia-Ukraine war changed everything. Misinterpretation was already a risk. Senator Marco Rubio, NASA Chief Bill Nelson, and other officials were in the habit of going on TV and warning that UFOs, if not alien spacecraft, must be super advanced Russian or Chinese technology behind which the United States is woefully lagging. The new report, according to the press leak, will stress the role of conventional surveillance drones, weather balloons, or other airborne clutter. NASA has launched its own inquiry with the barely disguised motive of dispelling the miasma created by years of careless Pentagon posturing and wordplay. Those with a taste for how we got here can do worse than Mr. Friedman's popular YouTube interviews with UFO-believing scientists, technologists, and Navy pilots involved in some of the most celebrated incidents. The government has perhaps made a discovery. The most disturbing idea embraced by the UFO cheerleaders isn't that life exists elsewhere in the universe, which seems likely, or that they may visit us. It's that aliens are a Jesus stand-in. They are our saviors. They and their civilizations are full of beneficent understanding and sympathy for humanity. Now let's just stop here for a second. Now, there is a handful of UFO people out there, people in the UFO community who think that these aliens are all good and knowing and benefit and will be beneficial for humanity. And yeah, of course there are some people like that, but that's just like with everything, isn't it? This is a religion. Nobody's talking about making UFOs from outer space. And aliens, the new Jesus. No, nobody's talking about that. This guy's just pulling this stuff out of his butt. The United States, he continues here. The United States defense sector has been strangely rife with such thinking for decades, producing a number of incidents in which personnel claimed aliens fiddled with or deactivated our nuclear weapons, presumably in loco parentis. A self-proclaimed Pentagon whistleblower and History Channel host, Luis Elizondo, whose mastery of media gullibility has been a major inflator of the UFO bubble, is naturally a pusher of this theme. Boy, oh boy. The Fuhrer sent me to the most talked about science fiction. Then he gets into the science fiction book. Wait to hear this. This is the part of this whole stupid piece that he writes, which really infuriates. He says, the Fuhrer sent me to the most talked about science fiction book of recent years, likely to be found under a few trees this season. The Three-Body Problem by China's Liu Cixin. When they gaze up at the stars and they turn sentimental and believe that if extraterrestrial intelligence exists, they must be civilizations bound by universal, noble, moral constraints, as if cherishing and loving different forms of life are parts of a self-evident universal code of conduct. He adds, I think it should be precisely the opposite. We should be ever vigilant and be ready to attribute the worst intentions to others that might exist in space. Let me quickly, that was the quote from the book that he's talking about. So basically, I guess in this, he's saying that a lot of people, most people in the UFO community are thinking that these things are a great thing. No. I mean, for instance, like on this podcast, I talk about most of the stuff I talk about, the intentions of the aliens. They don't seem good. A lot of people, that's what most people talk about. When you look at the alien abductions, nobody thinks that that's good. The cattle mutilations, nobody thinks that's good. None of this stuff is good. The potential the hybridization program, none of this stuff sounds good, right? It sounds terrible. Most people who've studied this, right, look at the facts. Most people think what's going on is terrible, and a lot of us believe that the scientific community needs to be alerted to what's going on, needs to be told the truth, so we can understand what the hell's going on exactly. Because most of it's speculation. Anyway, then he finishes off here. He says, let me quickly say, given interstellar distances, my view is that we'll be extinct by the time any others learn about our existence. Well, Let me just stop right there. They're already here. They already know about us. Again, this guy has done no research whatsoever. Doesn't believe in doesn't believe in the extraterrestrial presence whatsoever. That's because he's actually stupid. This guy's dumb when it comes to this subject. It's like Neil deGrasse Tyson talking about UFOs. He's dumb when it comes to the subject. It's like Julian Barnes. I do declare. It's like him, right? It's like all these people that some of the people, the biggest people that are the people who have a megaphone like this, putting out words in the mainstream media like this, they don't know what they're talking about. They obviously haven't studied this. Like, again, what are we doing? What are we doing? We have idiots who have not studied this at all, are just sitting on their sofa and they don't have no idea what's been going on. They've done no research on their own whatsoever. And these people, the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, Neil deGrasse Tyson, everywhere, right? These people are putting in garbage into people's heads. They don't have no idea. They never looked into nothing. They haven't read any books on this. They don't know what they're talking about. Oh my God, this is terrible. This is absolutely terrible. The guy who owns Fox News owns this newspaper. What are you doing, you idiot? You're an idiot. Anyway, continuing, we'll end it off here. But humanity shouldn't look to space aliens for its salvation. Who the hell's looking for the aliens for its salvation? Nobody is. We just want to know what the hell's going on. Most of us. Okay, yeah, admittedly, some people in the UFO community, but they're not, they believe they're here for good purposes, but no, even that, they're not replacing Jesus Christ, like you're saying here. You have no idea what you're talking about. And this is in the Wall Street Journal. And a lot of people with intelligence read the Wall Street Journal, so they're going to look at this. People who have no idea what's going on with that. Those people have no idea what's going on with UFOs. You're misinforming them. What are you guys doing? Rupert Murdoch, you're an idiot. What are you doing? You're a moron. Rupert Murdoch, you're an idiot. They're having this clown writing stuff in your newspaper like this. Anyway, continuing. With that, I wish my readers, including all the Lex Friedmans in the audience, a Merry Christmas. Yeah, whatever. Unbelievable.